This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Alex Diaz says, good morning, Big O and Bill. Do you think it's wrong for the NFL to force the Titans to forfeit the game even though they haven't been following protocols? I got to tell you something. I got no problem with the Titans getting stripped of a game this week if that's what the NFL wants to do. If look, there are protocols in place. They told you not to do this. It's a stinking pandemic. You know, some people just don't want to understand that this is highly contagious and it kills people. It may not kill you. It may not kill me this time around, but it might kill somebody else. And you really don't know. You could end up. That's why I stay away from it as much as I can. And I know it's almost the inevitable that you end up catching it, right? One way or another, you're going to slip up, something's going to happen, and you could do all the right things, and you could still end up catching it. But that's my fear, that I don't know how my body's going to react to it. And the Titans players know this. All the NFL players know this. So if they tell you we don't want any team activities, and you go out to a high school field and go have a team activity on your own, then yes. And now you've got all these now you're going to forfeit 2 games for the Titans. I'm sorry, you're going to miss 2 games for the Titans. So the 2 opponents, you've inconvenienced their season now. So why? So now the Titans broke the rules. They screwed themselves. They screwed 2 other teams now. And they're not supposed to pay a price? Oh, no, hell yeah. No. You take a draft pick away from them, and they forfeit a game. Maybe 2. Okay? For extreme stupidity. Somebody's got to be set an example.
I think you got to kind of go with the forfeit because you're affecting what other team is their opponent.
The 2 opponents, 2 of them.
That's what I'm saying.
This week's and last week's.
You have to – those teams can't be penalized for Tennessee's asinineness, right?
Right. Well, you're already penalizing
That's
them.
it, exactly.
No, they've already been penalized because now they've got to make up that game.
Right.
And it may be on a short week. It may be towards the end of the season when they're all beat up. And you got to add an extra game to get to the playoffs.
And then going into the playoffs, you got an extra game under your belt.
So now you screwed these teams, and they had nothing to do with it. They followed the rules. They followed protocol. They did the right thing. They were responsible. You were irresponsible.
It's your cause.
I got to tell you something. I'm shocked Ryan Tannehill is part of this. I just don't see him to be that kind of guy. Now, I guess he's turning into that guy that he wants to be chummy with his teammates, but you got to show leadership, too, in these kind of situations, and you got to not be a Neanderthal. And listen, I may never think that Ryan Tannehill will ever be a franchise quarterback, okay? He'll never be able to carry a team. I'll never believe that. You're going to have to show me that, okay? On his best day, he's still a facilitator. But he's not a bad dude. I don't look at him as a guy that would make really stupid decisions. And now I got to look at him as a Neanderthal, like a lot of football players. Oh, no, let's go have a practice in a protocol in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, so I'm shocked, whether it's Tannehill or anybody else that's involved. All those idiots should be forfeited the games, and they need to take away a draft pick or 2 from the Titans. I don't know where, 7th rounder, 5th rounder, whatever. I'm not saying a 1st or a 2nd because they're already forfeiting games. But you got to take away a draft pick, too.
Somewhere in the compensatory area.
Yeah, you need to
make him hit, like 4th round.
Because this way you penalize both. One, you by forfeiting games, you penalize the team now that's here, the players now. The draft pick, you penalize your front office and your ownership group. Why? Because they didn't police their players. Because they don't have players that are following. Let me ask you something. If they say don't practice, do you think Heat players are going to practice somewhere behind Spo's back? No. That's not going to happen. They're not going to do something that Riley doesn't want them to do. Okay?
Because the organization's first, and they are in charge, and they set the tone for anything.
Right.
It goes through them.
That's it. And so players with the Heat know that when something happened, we still don't know what Green was on 3 years ago in that hotel lobby. Nobody knows. And there were and those players in the locker room know. Nobody knows. Never gets out. That's the Heat. Players follow the rules. The Titans, their management, their coaches, obviously, they did not have the proper respect of their players. Or they said, well, you know, guys, if you want to work out on your own out there, you know, I didn't tell you or whatever. Maybe they also egged it on too. So that's why you got to take away a draft pick, and that's why you got to forfeit a game or both. I don't mind. I don't mind. Yeah, why should I have any sympathy for the Titans? Why? Why should I have sympathy for stupidity, ignorance? No. Stupidity and ignorance needs to be dealt with, and that's what you got to do. That's all. Simple. Not
Plus, you have to set a precedence.
I am shocked. Like, the way I look at Ryan Tannehill, he's the dude that, like, you and me were skipping fourth period to go get something. And,
no, we weren't.
And Ryan,
no. We signed our names on the list, and we went out and grabbed the camera, and we were taking candid shots of seniors.
All right, but
we were not skipping.
But
taking advantage.
Ryan would be the guy who would say, no, dude, I'm going to stay in class. That's kind of how I figure him. Like, he's the good kid in class. You know what I mean?
Well, obviously, not anymore. He's been corrupted since he went to Tennessee.
Obviously.
But, yeah, you have to set a precedent.
Yep.
The league, because there's going to be more of this, and you have to squash it before it becomes rampant, you know?
Yep.
You're right.